I think all are able to see this PPT.
It's clear, Arun.
Yeah, fine. So welcome all my dear friends to this Talent Search Learning Program. I outset that it's always a pleasure to interact with the new India, the new young generation who is going to define India in a new way. It will not be the same life that we have lived, either in politics or in our social interaction. The coming generation and the coming days are of yours, so that the only thing is that we should not be failed in at least informing you that there is a history available for a country like India, and that history is quite amazing. And politics of India is not that much simple to understand, but it has something to do with a historical perspective to understand it properly. So I welcome and wish my all brothers and sisters from different parts of the country for this program. Our final quiz will take place on I think January 30th, right, Madhu? On January 30th, and we'll be having two sessions. One will be a preliminary to screen all the participants, and we need 10 participants for the final. That will happen in the evening. So out of these 10 participants, we will select 5 participants, but that doesn't mean the 5 are eliminated. You will be given some consolation prizes as well. So this is all about the quiz program. The structure will be online mode since the COVID pandemic is crippling the life, the everyday life of each one of us. So we can't conduct this in offline mode. So I will just give some idea about this. I have shown these slides to some of the participants who are here 2 months back. The same slides and same questions I'm using this time. So this program is all about understanding and discovering India as such. To know the past, that means the kind of composite culture we had, the kind of political deliberations we had in our national movement, focusing upon 2 leaders mainly, Nehru and Gandhi. Of course, we are not undermining anyone. We are not underrating the contribution of any other freedom fighters in our national movement that carved out a nation state out of princely states and British Indian provinces. So from the past, we have to learn something for the future. That is the motto of this program. So the role of ideas of Gandhi. Gandhi was a philosopher, of course, at the same time a pragmatic political thinker. The way in which he curated national movement was in fact a fascinating one for all leaders in different parts of the world. Perhaps Martin Luther King might have been one who emulated him, or Nelson Mandela might have been inspired by one of his actions. But rather than that, the entire world leaders are approaching Gandhi in a different way. For them, Gandhi might be something impossible, a person with impossible talent and charisma. That's why our Albert Einstein said the young generation may not believe that such a man made of flesh and blood lived on earth. But that was a reality. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi transformed into Mahatma Gandhi, not in India, that you know, abroad, especially in the African continent. But his contribution to Indian politics is worth remembering, and the young generation has to go through it from a philosophical perspective as well as from a political perspective. So Gandhi will be our syllabus. Contemporary relevance of these ideas. Do Gandhian and Nehruvian ideas have any significance in the present Indian political scenario? That's what we are going to analyze through this program. 3 questions: whom should we follow? Whether who are the proper leaders? Who should give us the correct way? Whether Gandhi, Nehru, or somebody else? And what should we follow? Rather than whom should we follow, the question is what should we follow? Is the idea of non-violence? Is the idea of cooperation? Is the idea of composite culture? Is the idea of civilizational uniformity? Is the idea of scientific temperament? What should guide us in our endeavor of making India a new nation? Should we follow at all? That's the 3rd philosophical question. Should we follow any leaders? Let it be Gandhi or Nehru or somebody else. Should we follow anybody? Then then Nehru's life, work, politics, and ideas. Special attention to the discovery of India. Gandhi, Life, Works and Ideas, special focus on his autobiography, My Experiments with the Truth. So these are the two books that we have to focus upon. One is Discovery of India, written in Ahmednagar Fort, and another one is My Experiments with the Truth. That was considered as one of the philosophical as well as a true depiction of Gandhian life. So these are the two textbooks which we refer you to read. So this is all about the program, and the idea, the philosophy of the program is this. We have to answer some questions to the coming days for the young generation. So the platform for conducting the quiz will be mainly, we are having two modes. One is we are using Google Form to record your answers. At the same time, we will have a direct oral presentation when it comes to final. For preliminary, we depend upon this Google Form. We will ask questions in the PPT mode. In the PowerPoint, you can see the question, and your answers can be recorded in the Google Form, which I'm going to give you in the chat box. Now you open the chat box. I will just type the link for the Google Form so that you can open Google Form and start recording answers. But the question will be discussed on this screen. Remember, our people here in different parts of the country, they are the panelists, they are watching all of you, so that you are not supposed to move away from the seat or from the camera. Please don't switch off the camera. If you switch off the camera, that means at the moment itself, you will be disqualified. I know this is a limitation of online test and online examination. If the gadgets, in fact, fail you, we have no other way, because we have to give some kinds of fairness in this program, so that you are not supposed to switch off your camera. We can see you, but you can't see us. I think Abraham, Madhu is that way. We're doing it. They can see all, we can't see them, but they can't see us, right? We can see all of them, right?
They'll not be able to see us.
Yeah,
they'll not be able to see us. They can see only the panelists on screen.
Okay, fine.
All of the panelists on screen, they'll be able to see.
Okay, but we can see them. We can monitor them, right?
Yeah.
Our panelists are monitoring them from different places, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So that anybody, if anybody switch off your camera at that moment itself, you will be disqualified from this contest. We have no other way to ensure some sort of fairness, but we understand that you are, of course, following the path of Nehru and Gandhi. So there will not be any fraudulence. We don't find that, because this program is not for promoting, not for experiencing that. And we are starting with the assumption that all of my brothers and sisters are following the right path of Nehru and Gandhi. So there is no question of fraudulence. We don't anticipate any fraudulence in this, because we don't believe in that. But even then, we have to do some sort of fairness in that way. That's why we are doing this. So now, chat box, you please open the chat box. I think there are a few people here in the chat box, and I will just paste the link for putting your answers. That is the Google form. And in that Google form, you have to enter the name of your school. And then you have to register with your email, I think. Only you can answer the question. Nobody else should answer for you. That's the most important thing. So see, this is the link. And I think you can see the link. Just copy this link, and you just open a Google form. And in that Google form, you will find some options for recording your school name and your email sometimes. Link is not coming. Okay, let me check with it. Please hold on.
It'll be better if participants don't flood the chat box. Then the link will go further to a very old message kind
Arun,
of thing.
probably you from the drop down menu, you may have to select all participants. By default, I think it's the panelist. When you try to chat, I mean type text.
No, I think the participants can use the chat box. There is no restriction for that.
No, I am talking about you pasting the link.
I pasted, right? But I didn't.
Pasted, you did.
By default,
Yeah, I
that
did it.
option is host and panel.
One more. Again, I did.
Now it's
Now it's hosts and panelists. Hosts and panelists, it is not for participants. Is that
So-
what Manju is trying to say?
you'll have to select everyone. So
Oh,
that
that's
everyone
right. That's
can
right. That's right. Then you can select. Link is not visible. Okay. Let's see. To everyone, right? I think now you can see, right?
Yeah. Now
Okay.
it's for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. It was restricted to.
Friends, please don't flood the chat box now. The message, the Google form is there. Please open the Google form and wait for further instructions. Stop flooding the chat box, please.
So I think you open the chat box. Now I would just